Hey, what's going on, everybody? I am Pruitt. Hope you're doing well. I'm unbelievable as always. And in this video, we're going to talk about a new video editing option that's available for people that are just trying to get started in creating content for the likes of YouTube or other just video platforms. But yeah, it's called Premiere Rush from the folks at Adobe. You know, the same folks that give you the Creative Cloud, Photoshop, Premiere Pro, After Effects, all those other tools that I use pretty regularly. But this one is a new offering, and it's just targeting a different set of users, not necessarily the advanced users, but we'll get more into that in a moment. Anyway, this channel is geared more for the folks that are beginning in the world of digital content creation. So if you're interested in that kind of thing, consider hitting that subscribe button and sharing some of the other videos found on the various playlists on this channel. I appreciate the support. All right, so let's go ahead and get right into it. Premiere Rush. This is a lightweight version of Premiere Pro-ish and Adobe Audition-ish, and it's got a little bit of After Effects functionality in it, but very minimal of that stuff in there. Yeah, let me just fire it up and it'd be a little bit easier for me to explain what you're going to see, the look and feel, and so forth. So let's go ahead and open it up. All right, so here we have Premiere Rush, and if you look at this in comparison to Lightroom CC, you're going to see a lot of similar nuances. This screen here is Lightroom CC, cloud performance and cloud-based photo editor from Adobe. You have your this plus symbol here to add images and your library, share it, and all of your little editing tools here on the right hand side. And if you want to share it, you got a share option right there. Pretty straightforward, pretty simple to use. So let's go back to Rush, and I have all of these existing projects that I'd been working on previously. Let's go back to this one here, this little drone scene that I did. Okay, so now I have this drone scene open up, and again, you see the similarities in the UI. I like this because Adobe is trying to make this be a seamless interface for you, as far as being on a computer or being on a mobile device or tablet or what have you. Currently, this package is only available on Windows, Mac OS, and iOS. It's not available on Android just yet. They told me Android will be available in, quote, 2019. Now, does that mean January 1st or does that mean December 30th? I have no idea. Hopefully it's a lot sooner than December 30th, but we'll see. But anyway, yeah, this is the video editor. You can add any type of video track that you'd like, whether it's 4K, HD, and what have you. And you can go in and set up transitions, do any of your color grading and whatnot, because you have these little lookup tables or LUT packs that are built right in. You just click on them like so, and you'll notice the screen changes based on the LUT pack that you selected. If you don't want to use these presets, you can just hit this edit key up on the screen here and work with the exposure and things like that, just like you would with any other color grading system, similar to the Lumetri color panel inside of Premiere Pro. So I'm going to go back and I'm going to turn this LUT pack off. All right, set that to none, and then we'll go back and just edit this manually, because that's just what I like to do. Every now and then I use a LUT pack, but most of the time I'm doing a lot of manual processing. But this is pretty straightforward and fairly easy to do. Now, if you notice here on the timeline, you have a audio track. So if you want to add music to your video, you can just by clicking the add button and navigate into wherever your music files are. You know, I had a lot of things inside of my Creative Cloud folder here, so I could choose from a lot of different assets right there fairly easily. Let's see here. I thought I had a Rush folder in here. Maybe I moved it already. There we go. There's a Rush folder. I got some music there. And if I want to add a track, I'll just click on that right there and hit the add button. and it'll drop it right in. Now, the difference between using this on the Windows machine, as I'm doing right now, versus using an iPad or an iPhone or what have you, you don't want to get used to doing double clicks. I find myself thinking I'm in Premiere Pro, so I'll do a lot of double clicking and nothing will happen. Some functionality just requires one little tap, because you got to think you're dealing with the touch interface on the other option. So just do one tap and then look for that little add button like you see down here in the bottom left corner. So that's one thing to keep in mind. Now, one thing that it did keep from the world of Premiere Pro is the keyboard shortcuts to navigate through your timeline. So instead of dragging this little playhead with your mouse, you can use the J, K, and L shortcuts. If I want to go forward, I just hit L on the keyboard and it's going to drag and play forward. If I want to stop it, just hit K. J takes me backwards. If I want to speed through it going backwards, I just hit J a couple times and it'll speed up. And vice versa if you want to go forward using the L key. I totally dig that. Now let's get into motion graphics. So let's jump back over here to this first frame, and you see I have a little motion graphic that pops up that says Gastonia, North Carolina. It's a big city here near where I live. This was pretty easy to do. You just go over to this title option over here on the upper right, or the little T, and it gives you all these little wizards and things like that. I don't necessarily need those now, so we'll just bypass that. Click on it again, and you can scrub through all of these different little title options that may fit your needs. But the beauty of them is when you drag them over here, you can make some adjustments. You can make some adjustments to them because they're templates. So let's go back down here and we'll click on the edit option, and you see the text there. You can change that, change the font. You can change the shape design. Notice the color here is this blue. I don't want that. I want to make it say a yellowish color or something like that, which is pretty horrendous, but I just feel like changing it. But it's pretty straightforward and easy to do. And let's go ahead and change the text. If you want to change the text, you can click right here on the text, or you can just click directly on the screen. And I'll just do a Control A to select all and say, this is my text. And if I hit enter, it's going to drag it down an extra line like that. So be careful when doing stuff like this with your text, because remember, this is a touch interface. So don't hit enter, just click off and it's saved. Pretty easy, pretty straightforward. All right, and let's see, we'll turn some things off. Make that transparent, and let's get rid of this one here, and we'll change the font to one of my favorite. We'll say Babus New. Okay, and that's for this line. So click on that, and I'm gonna say I'm still typing. Cool. All right, so that's the ease of use when it comes to doing the motion graphics templates inside of Premiere Rush. Now, there's a caveat with that. In my previous videos, I use a lot of motion graphics templates that I created myself, and I like to synchronize them up to my Creative Cloud libraries. If you look over here on this title screen, you have the option of selecting from something local on your computer, from Adobe Stock. You know, I select my templates, and then there's this drop down box here. You know, I can just select my library. Now, granted, I said I have a bunch of them that are already created in my CC library, but you don't notice them here inside of Premiere Rush. That is because those templates that I created were built inside of After Effects. At this time, there is no compatibility with motion graphics templates that were authored inside of After Effects. You have to author them inside of Premiere Pro. That's unfortunate, because that means I would have to go back and redo these things inside of Premiere Pro, and that takes a little bit of time, but I'll get over it. This is a version 1.0 piece of software, so there's going to be a few things like that that are just a little bit nitpicky that you have to work through for the time being. Okay, so that's the functionality of motion graphics. You have the ability to do transitions between two clips here. If you zoom in a little bit closer, you'll see I have this little gray area showing between these two clips. That is a transition, and it's a crossfade. So as I hit play, it crossfades into the next clip. It gives you a little crossfade. If you're coming from the world of Premiere Pro, you may be used to having your tracks up on an additional line like so, and dragging it over that way, and then taking your transitions and dragging it in like on the first part of it, and then dragging your transition on the end of the other track. And it doesn't quite work that way, folks. Your transitions work a lot better when they're down on the same line, unfortunately. Okay, now another problem that I found in this, and I reported to Adobe, was this little bit of functionality. Let's say this clip right here is something I want to work with a little bit later on. I don't necessarily want it right here in my timeline, yet I don't want to delete it either. So ideally, when I'm working in Premiere Pro, I just drag these over somewhere out the way so I can come back to it later. But when I do that here in Premiere Rush, it automatically snaps back. I don't like that. I wanted to check my options up here to see if snapping was on, and snapping is on. So if I click to turn that snapping off, I would assume that I could still drag this away and it would stay over there, but nope, it snaps right back. Don't care for that. All right, so let me get this and try to move this down that way. Okay, so now we're back together, and it looks fairly okay. So we'll scrub through, let this play. It should transition into the night scene. Not bad. Okay, so we've gone through the transitions, we've gone through the title sequences, we've gone through the color correction. Audio. All right, here's your audio track options, and these are really, really good. I would like to put in some voice tracks on this thing. Hold on, I need to click down there. Now I can select the audio. All right, so now that you have different audio options in here, you can tell Premiere Rush what type of audio that you're using for your tracks. And here I got it designated as music, and if I wanted to change it to voice, I could do so. Why this matters is because you have auto ducking. Auto ducking allows you to play music in your video, and if there happens to be some dialogue, the music will automatically fade out, so the dialogue will be picked up a little bit higher and a little more audible for you. Let me see if I have some let's see if I got some type of footage over here with me running my mouth, I think somewhere. Let me see. Okay, so now we have something here that's got some voice in it. And this is me coming from the keynote. All right, so I'm going to stop that, and I'm going to take this music and move it down just a little bit for the test, like so. Now I like the fact that I can move the music around, but I can't do the same thing with the actual video footage.
Hey, hope y'all doing all right.
If you listen, you can hear the music is still playing fairly loud.
Here in Los Angeles, California.
So let me take this, and we'll make this particular video be marked as voice as far as the audio. And then we'll click over here for the audio track, the music track, make sure it's marked as music, and then we'll select auto duck. Okay, and what happens is it automatically creates a little keyframe to turn the volume down once I start speaking. So let's go back. You can hear it here. See, it muted out. Well, not really muted, but it went down.
Hey everybody, hope y'all doing all right. This is
Okay, so now if I cut this a little bit shorter, just for the sake of this video, you'll notice every time I move this track, those keyframes moved automatically. See the little shadow down there? So I'm going to extend it, and it says, oh, wait a minute, he's still talking. Let's adjust that. If I shorten it, I say, nope, we need to shorten this down, and then we'll fade it back up. So check it out.
Hey everybody, hope y'all doing all right.
And there you have it. The audio is really nice on here. So if I go back and I want to try to adjust even more, this clips audio, because you got all of this background noise from being in this huge convention center and the stage, and there's tons of people. There's like 14,000 people in there, but you don't want to hear all that background noise. You want to focus more on me. Granted, I had an external mic connected at the time, which is a really good mic. I'll have the link to that down below. It's an affiliate link, but there's still a lot of noise for it to compete with. So over here in the audio panel, I can select to reduce the background noise and reducing the echo. So let's take a listen to this here, and I'll stretch it out for now so we can get a really good test.
Hey everybody, hope y'all doing all right.
Okay, so I'm gonna stop it. Let's take it down to without any of the background noise reduction.
Hey everybody, hope y'all doing all right.
All right.
This is Adobe Max 2018 here in Los Angeles, California.
Hear how I muted it a little bit?
2018 here in Los Angeles, California.
Not bad, not bad, not bad. Now I can do all of this stuff inside of Adobe Audition, but it's a little more difficult. There's a few more clicks, and Adobe Audition may do a better job, but for something like this that is quick and easy, I totally dig this. So let's select to reduce the echo as well. All right. So let's go back. We're going to take everything back to 0. Hit play.
Hey everybody, hope y'all doing all right. This is Adobe Max 2018
Echo sounds a lot
here in
better.
Los Angeles, California. Looking forward to this event. This is my second time coming here and checking out what Adobe has to offer.
That's much better, much better audio right there. You don't get all of the extra background noise at the convention center, and you get to hear the mumbo jumbo that I'm speaking. That's pretty awesome. Okay, so now finally you got your video composed and created, and it's looking great. You got all of your nice little cuts and your motion graphics. Let's get that stuff shared out there to the world. You can share it over to YouTube, Facebook, or Instagram. So just go on over here to your share tab in the upper left, and it's going to give you a couple options there. So you notice you have all of these little social media options here. You don't have a Twitter one because Twitter is pretty picky when it comes to video and its compression. It's about as bad as Instagram. But things to note: when you select to upload it to YouTube, it will do so automatically, and it'll allow you to put in a title, description, where you want to sit it as far as the privacy concerns, your tags. You can put a thumbnail in here, and it does a really good job of putting it out there and getting it queued up for you. Same when it goes for Facebook. You can just sign in, and it will automatically push it straight out to Facebook for you. Instagram, you can share to Instagram. The only problem is there's no direct upload to Instagram. You have to save this to your computer or what have you. If you're using a Windows machine or a Mac machine, you have to save it to your computer and then transfer it from your computer to your mobile device and upload it to YouTube that way. But it will handle all of the presets as far as making sure it's going to fit the square format of YouTube. I highly suggest taking this resolution down to HD. If you're using 4K footage, take it down to HD, because the compression is going to be really strong when it's in 4K or UHD. They won't compress it as much in an HD format, so it'll look a lot better and even sound a little bit better too. That is pretty straightforward, pretty easy to do. All right. Rendering times are going to depend on your system and all of the effects that you're using in there. This little 2-minute clip took about 1.5 minutes or so to properly render out, and it looked pretty good when I played around with it. Your mileage may vary. The biggest thing on this is this piece of software is lightweight. It doesn't have all of the bells and whistles that you may need, but it still does a pretty good job of helping beginners get started. I really dig the audio editing options inside of that. Oh, there's one more thing. I totally forgot. If you're working on this project and decide that you have a few other bells and whistles that you want to work on, you might want to put it inside of Premiere Pro. And the easiest way to do it is just open up Premiere Pro, and then there's an option in here that says open your Premiere Rush projects, and it will pull them right in. It'll keep all of your settings, and it'll keep all of your little edits and so forth. The only problem is you don't get the ability to use as many tracks on your timeline as you would in Premiere Pro normally. But let me show you here. So you just open that up and say open Premiere Rush project. It'll start looking at your Creative Cloud, and I'll click no on that. Don't need to worry about that. It's wanting to sync any type of fonts like so. And I'll say sync fonts, please allow time. Boom. And there it is. Here's the project. Still looks exactly the same. Still has those same motion graphics in it. The only difference now is I have access to my essential graphics templates that I created earlier. And if I want to just do this one here and just drag it over like that, it'll think, synchronize, and do its thing like so. So that's it. Now I can't share from here the same way that I would inside of Premiere Rush, but there are some shareable options that allow it to automatically upload to YouTube and things like that. But again, this is Premiere Pro versus Premiere Rush. So there are going to be some huge differences here and there. All right, so that is it. That is my first look at Adobe's Premiere Rush video editing software aimed at getting people started in the world of video editing. I think this is a nice piece of software. Granted, it is version 1.0 because there are some things out there that might handle this a little bit better. You know, that LumaFusion seems to be pretty popular. It's only on iOS, and it does a really good job. I love the aspect of being able to create something specifically for YouTube or specifically for Instagram, and it will do all of the formatting and changing the screen around so it can be vertical for you, and just making it a lot easier for you when it comes to getting this content created. But that is it. If you have any other questions or comments, feel free to leave those questions and comments below. I appreciate all of the support and all of the love, and thank you to the folks at Adobe for having me out at Adobe Max this past week, and thank you to Tech Republic for sending me there and taking care of all of the sponsorships and things of that nature. Really appreciate that. All right, folks, I'm going to get on up out of here. I got some more creative work to do, and I suggest to you get on up out there and just create and dominate. Y'all take care. See ya.